Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with a quick album review, and this time it's the Rolling Stones and Hackney Diamonds. As I talk about this album, what's inside the CD will appear somewhere on the screen as I talk about it. The Rolling Stones. I've recently done my top 20 Rolling Stones tracks, and the Stones, there's something reassuring about them, isn't there? There's something reassuring about the fact that they're still there doing music, still releasing albums and still on tour. I remember, I'm going to mention several times now, I remember 1974 when they released It's Only Rock and Roll, and people, I was 15 then, people were saying in Sounds and Enemy that they were past their prime and it was all downhill from here and they were finished. Punk arrives later in the 70s, and by then they're dinosaurs and they're finished, no one's interested in them. The mid-80s, they're finished, they're past it, they're ancient, they're in their 40s by now, they're finished, it's over. We end towards the end of the 80s, same kind of thing, and then we have press things saying that the combined age of the Rolling Stones is about 4,000 through the 90s, the noughties, and here they are, they're still here releasing records. And there's been a few gaps. This is the gap between this one, if you take away the one of the blues covers more recently. But the Stones have always released, to me, patchy albums. This is why they are the ultimate greatest hits, best of package band, because you can cherry pick tracks from any album, because there are no real bad albums for the Rolling Stones, but on every album has gems on it that combined together makes the ultimate rock and roll compilation album. I was always a Stones person more than the Beatles, and it's in later years that I've become closer to the Stones. So, how do I view this? Now, this might seem completely controversial, which I seem to be doing a bit of more recently, but I think this is fantastic. Now, as I said earlier, a lot of the Stones albums to me are patchy, but there'll be a couple of great tracks. I can think of anything. Voodoo Lounge, one of my favourite albums, but it dips. It's like they go up and down, Stone tracks. Even Exile on Money Street, I don't like everything on it. There are things I like more than other bits, okay? But when I first played this, and the opening song, obviously, which is Angry, the first thing it reminded me of was AC/DC, latter-day AC/DC. AC/DC were always a rock and roll band. They actually went out with the Stones, on tour at one point. They weren't heavy metal. I know the mid part of the 80s, there was Angus Young's guitar became quite metallic. But their last few albums, it's rock and roll. I think he has more alignment with Keith Richards, and the Stones have gone more towards that kind of AC/DC type guitar sound. So the first thing I hear was like... was like the first song sounded like, I was trying to think of the AC/DC song it reminded me of. It's the opening song of the one before last, Black Ice, I think it is. Was it the first one, about the one with the train? Bear with me. Say in the comments. But it reminded me of the same kind of guitar sound, the same kind of positive energy of that feel. And we're straight in with Get Loose, Depending on You. Depending on You's got a great chorus, pop sensibilities, but it's a great song. And Bite My Head Off, again, is a great up-tempo, lively, positive rock and roll songs. Dreamy Skies, Mess It Up. He's got that disco feel of Miss You. Fantastic. Live by the Sword, Driving Me Too Hard, Take Me Straight. There's a little bit of dippage there, but it all gels together. And then Sweet Sounds of Heaven, which is an epic of nearly 8 minutes in duration with Lady Gaga. And I love that. I love the way it builds to an absolute climax and then stops and then eases into, just keeps going again. This has got to be, I mean, there's a Rolling Stone Blues kind of Muddy Waters thing tagged on the end. But I have to say, at this point in time of doing this review, and of all the Stones albums I've heard, this is one of the very few to me that from beginning to end, I did not find myself thinking, shall I go and make a cup of tea or start browsing through a newspaper, or I was just with it. I was just with it all the way through. And at the end of it, I just put it on again. I just pressed repeat. And the more I've played it, the more that happens. And I thought, well, it's because I'm liking it straight away. Some of the songs will start to go up and down in my feel of how it is, but it hasn't happened. I think it's, and Mick Jagger's voice. There's lots of singers from 80s rock bands in their 60s who were struggling. Mick Jagger's 80. He's a tour de force. He's a force of nature. He's an inspiration to us all to think, well, if he can do it, if he can plan to go on a tour in 2024, 2025 and be on stage 2.5 hours and he's going to be 81, 82, well, then so can I. Well, maybe not do that, but all the things I might be thinking, getting on a bit, mate. The Stones. It's like the elixir of life. The sense of wonder that you get from listening to these guys. But I love music now that makes me feel good, that makes me feel positive, that gives me that sense of wonder back, of hearing the music, whether it's Gimme Shelter from Let It Bleed in 1969, when I was actually too young, to now, when I'm still too young, to enjoy the Rolling Stones. Hackney Diamonds. I'm absolutely loving it. Tell me what you think. Again, be kind to all the other people that leave comments. If it's not your kind of thing, just keep scrolling. But if you're liking it, let me know. Great album, The Rolling Stones, Hackney Diamonds. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and sharing and liking and ringing that little bell. And thank you, so many of you now are coming on board as patrons or YouTube members. It's really making a difference to how that Now Spinning Magazine is progressing and moving forwards into the world of music and supporting music fans of physical music. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Keep spinning those discs, stay safe, and I shall see you very, very soon.